This is a Sports Catastrophe production. Hey there, Heather, ho, there's Jeff Cutastrophe. Welcome to another Sports Catastrophe birthday boy. And the birthday boy for today, April the 2nd, is a NHL icon from Russia. I know the whole Russia problem, but still, he was pretty good. He played over 1,300 NHL games in 18 seasons for the Rangers, Penguins, Habs, Sens, and Panthers between 1992 and 2013. He is actually the assistant coach for Kunlun Red Star of the Continental Hockey League, the Russian Hockey League, the team is in China, by the way. And this guy played in the KHL with Oblast. But anyway, this guy was a legend. And, it was okay. His name, and I forgot what the last name of that PA announcer from Montreal is. I know it's Michel something. Rubry, but I don't know. Alex Kovalev. So anyway, Alex Kovalev was born in Russia and was drafted by the Rangers in the first round of the 1991 NHL draft, 15th overall. Of course, the 91 draft is most memorable for Eric Lindros refusing to play for Quebec. And San Jose, with their first ever draft pick, taking Pat Falloon, which is funny because their second pick, Ray Whitney, was a whole lot better than him. And of course, this was the draft that the Leafs would have had the third overall pick, but they traded that pick to New Jersey 2 years prior for Tom Kurvers. And Scott Niedermayer was drafted by the Devils. That could have been us. Of course, that also was the one that Scott LaChance and Aaron Ward were drafted ahead of Peter Forsberg, which is like, what the fuck? Aaron Ward? Anyway, so Kovalev was the 5th right winger drafted. First, Pat Falloon to the Sharks. Alex Stoyanov to Vancouver, who's only known for being traded to Pittsburgh for the once of one Marcus Naslund and that being very lopsided. Morton LaPointe going 10th overall to Detroit, not bad. New Jersey getting Brian Rolston, that's not so bad. So Kovalev went to the Rangers. He was actually the first Russian-born player to be drafted in the first round of the draft. Well, the first Soviet. Well, because the Iron Curtain was falling and all that. So that was just crumbling. Anyway, he was known for his stick-handling skills. If you read stories about Alex Kovalev, is that he once took a car out on the Long Island Highway and was speeding heavily and lost his translator, who was supposed to be his caregiver. But it says Kovalev was decent. He played for the 94 Rangers when they won the Stanley Cup. He actually had the 3rd most points in the 94 class for the Rangers. That was amazing. He was 3rd? I'm thinking Leach and Messier won 2, but I don't know. And all that. I just have to take a gander at the player statistics. I don't know why they say he was 3rd. Because Leach, Messier, Kovalev. Oh yeah, Kovalev 3rd. Kovalev behind Leach and Messier, like I thought. Okay, never mind. So yeah, so Kovalev alongside Alex Karpovtsev, Sergei Minchinov, and Sergei Zubov were the first Russians to be engraved on the Stanley Cup. It's funny how it's not one player who did it, it was 4 Russians. And the Stanley Cup went to Russia, of course. So Kovalev allegedly actually was happy with Coach Keenan giving him like a 4-minute shift, even though that it was to punish Kovalev. So during the lockout of 95, he returned to play for Lada, scoring 8 goals in 12 games. And then, of course, the party, right? I mean, the season continued. Well, the 94-95 season was interrupted, but it was not stricken. So anyway, he went back to the Rangers. And then the Rangers decided in 98 to trade him to Pittsburgh for Peter Nedved. Not a bad move. Kovalev did decently for the Penguins. And then after needing to get rid of their high-priced players because, Pittsburgh was having financial troubles, they traded him back to New York alongside Yanni Laukkanen for Rico Fata, Joe Bouchard, Richard Lindner, and Michael Samuelson. Pittsburgh really needed the dump to salary. I mean, those 4 guys were shit. regardless, he played a little bit, and then at the trade deadline in 2004, he was traded to the Habitants for Josip Belej and a second-round pick in the draft. I just want to find out who the Rangers took with that second-round pick from Montreal. It was Bruce Graham from Moncton. Anyway, Kovalev broke out in the 2004 playoffs, scoring 6 goals in 11 games. Unfortunately, Kovalev will also be known for his stupidity in Game 4 of the first round against the Bruins. In overtime, he got allegedly slashed by one of the Boston players. He was shaking his hand, and unfortunately, he bumped into one of his teammates who was backtracking, and that was when I think Michael Ryder? No. Glenn Murray scored that overtime goal, putting the Bruins up 3-1 in the first round. Fortunately, though, Montreal did come back to win the next 3 to win that series. Anyway, so Kovalev would spend the 2005 lockout canceled season with Akbar's Kazan. And it was actually the World Championship's best forward. Anyway, he opted to re-sign with Montreal for a 4-year contract prior to the NHL starting up again. And he did pretty well for himself. Kovalev in 2007 was in trouble because he allegedly criticized the team, coaching staff, and the Montreal media in an interview given in Russian. A lot of people said the criticism did happen. And due to the fact that Kovalev was not himself in the 2007 season, there were issues. However, Kovalev would find a resurgence for the 2008 season, scoring 35 goals in the 2008 season, and got himself to the top 100 in all-time NHL scoring. Kovalev was given the C for Montreal, replacing Saku Koivu for a couple of occasions when he was injured. Kovalev was named captain of the Eastern Conference when the 2009 All-Star Game happened in Montreal, and the fans were just cheering for him. So I guess he found his true calling in Montreal. So anyway, after the 2009 season, he signed as a free agent with Ottawa. So anyway, Kovalev surprisingly was a cut from the 2010 Russian Winter Olympic team. He was selected as a reserve and didn't play for them. It could have worked out for Russia. Anyway, Kovalev would put up his 1,000th point November 2010, scoring against the Kings. And then at 38, he decided to waive his no-trade clause and be traded back to Pittsburgh for a 7th-round pick. Pittsburgh were really in trouble because they were without Crosby and without Malkin. So Kovalev underachieved, and Pittsburgh would not re-sign him. So then, after the NHL said no teams wanted to pick him up, Kovalev went to Moscow Oblast in the KHL and wanted to come back to the NHL. After the 2013 lockout that shortened the season, Kovalev was given a tryout with the Panthers and signed with the Panthers. He actually scored 3 points in his first game as a Panther, but he would retire by March 2013 after not playing much with the Panthers. However, a Swiss league team called EHC Visp said they gave him a 1-year contract. He really wanted to play professional hockey past 41, but didn't work out. So yeah, so he had a lot of great accomplishments. I mean, the first Russian player drafted in the first round, that was in 91. One of the first 4 Russian players to have his name engraved on the cup, like I said, Karpatsov, Nemchimov, and Zubov, the others. First Russian player to be captain of an All-Star team, which he was MVP of that All-Star game. And, you know, he has the most NHL games played by a player born and trained in the Soviet Union. I think Ovechkin's going to catch that mark of 1302. So, anyway, he actually had a heart disorder at age 8, and for a couple of years he had to get treatment, but thankfully he's okay. And he actually had a suite at the Bell Center, Kobe's kids, for children with heart conditions, the opportunity to attend hockey games at the Bell Center. Kind of cool. In the NHL, he put up 1,029 points in 1,316 games with 100 playoff points in 123 games. I still consider him a Penguins legend because that was his best seasons. Sorry, Ranger fans. But anyway, yeah, he went to 3 All-Star games, 01, 03, 09. All-Star game MVP, as I said. Stanley Cup champion once. And won the gold medal at the 92 Olympics. So, yeah. He was pretty good in all that. How many games did he play with the Panthers? 14, okay. So it wasn't just a one-game wonder. Yeah, but Alex Kovalev is an icon. Sorry, Hab fans, but I consider him a Penguins legend. Anyway, I'm done having to do.